Thank you for joining me on the journey. This is Completed Christianity, so welcome back. Once again, another episode of Being Complete. And so we're going to continue in our journey of being complete. Our journey, which is this Torah observant lifestyle where we endeavor to more and more follow the ways of the Father and not be led astray by the doctrines and traditions of men. So, being complete, and today is third day, misunderstood verses. And let's jump right into this. Today we're going to talk about the mind of the flesh, the mind of the spirit. And we've dealt with this in a couple of other videos, but these misunderstood verses, I think they need their own standalone videos for people that are looking for just this sort of thing. So let's take a look at the verse, Romans 8:6. For the mind of the flesh is death, but the mind of the spirit is life and peace, because the mind of the flesh is hatred, enmity towards the mighty one. The mind of the flesh is hatred towards the mighty one, for it does not subject itself to the Torah or law of the mighty one. Neither indeed is it able, and those who are in the flesh are unable to please the mighty one. So, in this, we see here it says that the law of the Father, the law of the mighty one, that the mind of the flesh doesn't subject itself to that law. But in Christianity, it doesn't subject itself to that law. But we want to claim that we have the mind of the Spirit. But according to this verse, we don't. Or they don't. So, let's just say, oh, well, you know, that law of the Father, it's something else. It's another law. It's the law of Christ. Well, let's look into that a little bit. So, Deuteronomy 4:2, do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahweh, your mighty one, which I am commanding you today. So, this is scripture. It's not claused. It's not invalidated. It's not for a certain people at a certain time. It's for Israel, and those of us who believe in Messiah, we're grafted into the cultivated olive tree, which is Israel. So there's no Israel, and we'll see this in a minute, there's no Israel and us, or no Israel and Gentiles, or no Jew and no Greek, or no Jew and no Gentile. There's none of that. That's doctrines and traditions of men. So right here, this says that you're not to add to the word or take away from it. So that means that the word that he commanded, the law that he gave, you can't take away from it or command, or you can't add to it, so there can't be another law. Just as it also says that there will be one law for the foreigner and one law for the native born. So there's one law, that's it. Just did a recent video on that. How many laws in the Bible? Go back, watch that video. So, do not add to the word. So, there is no other law. There's no other law of the mighty one. Galatians 3:28. There is not Jew, Yehudi, or Greek. There is not slave nor free. There is not male nor female, for you're all one in Messiah Yeshua. So Jew nor Greek. There's neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither Jew nor Gentile in the kingdom, in the body. There's not, because in Christianity, for the most part, it's taught that there's a way of salvation for the Jew and there's a way of salvation for the Gentile. No. No. Because even in Christianity, we teach that that's not true. Because we also teach that there's only one way, through the Messiah. Now, there's not one way for this group and one way for that group. So when we take a look at all of this together, and then we move on here to 1 John 2:6, the one who says he stays in him ought himself also to walk as he walked. Beloved, I write no fresh command to you, but an old command, which you have had from the beginning. So what are the old commands that in the first century they had from the beginning? It's not some other law. It's the law of the Father that's re-given through Moses. That the same law that Abraham followed pre-Moses. And the same law that, as John says here, was from the beginning. I write no fresh command to you, but an old command which you have had from the beginning. The old command is the word which you heard from the beginning. So, this mind of the flesh, being hatred towards the mighty one, is hatred towards the mighty one because it does not subject itself to the Torah of the mighty one. So right here, we see these verses are evidence that if we are in opposition to the word of the Father, that we are in opposition to his ways. We are in opposition to him. It is hatred towards him. How does that have a bearing on salvation? I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know. It's not my place to know. I'm not the judge. But right here we have it, that the mind of the flesh does not subject itself to the Torah of the Mighty One. Psalm 89:34, my covenant I will not break nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Comments of opposition are welcome. Just don't say anything dumb like we're not under the law or under grace. For you've been taught to use that verse outside of the bounds of its intended context. Subscribe now. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notifications of all future videos.